walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Jayne Atwell. Say good morning.
Good morning.
We'll get to her in just a second. If this is your first time, we go to spiritualwarfareunit.com and you can click on struggling. You can see our nonprofits that we work with down there. So if you're struggling with food or clothes or baby formula or schooling or whatever, you go on there. And if you're doing good but you know someone's struggling, go on there, have them get help for free. And you can be the person that helps somebody. So help us, help people, help you. All right. So you are our warrior of the week, and you are from the UAW 598, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you are part of the MOST group. So first, I guess we should probably explain what the MOST group is. Yeah?
Okay. The MOST group is a recovering group of people inside the plant. It's been in existence for 28 years, 29 years. The acronym stands for Maintaining Our Support Together. Back when it started, it was maintaining our sobriety together, but we found inside the plant that there's many hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and everybody needs support. So we're there to help them figure out how to navigate that.
So this is a group that helps people in the union with drugs and alcohol sobriety.
Sobriety, right. Mental health challenges.
Okay.
I mean, we're there for the whole thing, right? And
So you guys are the brain trust behind SoberFest, which is a huge softball tournament and great thing coming up here, right?
yes, absolutely.
All right. And so I want to get someone from the board on there, because again, people that help people, where do they come from? Why did it happen? What struggles you went through? So you got picked by a friend. So Jayne, you are from where? Where were you born at? Were you in this area?
Yeah, I'm originally from Michigan. I originated in Montrose, and now I live out in Byron.
Okay. Yeah, one of my daughters still lives in Montrose. Grew up in Montrose. That's a nice little country area, very small.
Yeah.
All right. So you graduated from Montrose?
Nope, actually I graduated from Corona.
Okay. So did your parents work in the UAW prior?
My father was a retiree from Chevy in the Hole. Did his 30 years. Yeah.
Okay.
My mother worked for Frito-Lay back in the day.
Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So you graduated. This would have been when?
82.
82. Okay. So you graduated in 1982. So you grew up in Smallville, I guess, sticks, right?
Yes.
Anything in your childhood that stuck out as like something that helped, Jayne be Jayne as she was growing up? or did you just kind of meander? Like, were you a cool kid? Were you
I was not. No, I was not the cool kid. I was not the athlete. I was...
I'm a high-level nerd, so...
Yeah, no. I was one of those that from the first day of kindergarten till they handed me my diploma, I couldn't wait to get out of there.
No kidding?
No kidding.
Not a school person?
No.
So what did you do? Like, what was your fun things?
Yeah.
Like, were you a hunt fish person?
No.
Were you
No, did a whole lot of nothing.
Whole lot of nothing?
Yeah.
That's a nothing person.
Just a nothing person. I enjoy being outside, I guess. It's, being out in nature.
Were you socially, hanging out with your friends and that kind of thing? Oh, kind of a homebody?
Well, I can't say that either, but I absolutely attribute my using process as to help me deal with social anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And then unfortunately it went its own path and took me with it.
All right. So I'm assuming this is why you got into all this in the first place. So
Right.
So when did that start?
Oh, goodness sakes. And unfortunately, you sit and tell your story. I probably blackout drinking from the get-go at 12, 13.
12 or 13. Where did you get it?
Yeah.
Places.
I'm the
things.
youngest of 5.
And I have girls, so you probably worked your dad like a cheapskate, I imagine. Yeah. Well, you had older siblings, so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the opportunities were boundless and endless.
Yes. Yeah.
I imagine. All right, and I'm sure they thought it was funny at the time, yeah?
Right.
All right, so, and that probably brought out your personality a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So 12, 13. So by '82, was this like an issue, or is there something you're still just?
No, actually, it was still fun and games, right? I mean, I did what I had to do, going to school and functioned, and
Yeah. So did
the
you
weekends it was party and
Yeah.
do it all
did
over
you
again.
did you do college, or did you go
No.
into
No.
the shop right after high school?
No, actually, no. I was a licensed hair stylist
No kidding.
for years.
When did you get that? Like right out of high school?
Right out of high school, yeah. I
No
did the
kidding.
share time thing.
I don't know what that means, share time.
It's where you go to school for 3 hours and then you would go to like a skill center.
Oh,
Except
okay.
ours wasn't a skill center; it was an actual beauty.
So let me ask you, just from a guy's point of view, because this is a total guy question, but like it seems hard. It seems like a lot of work to maintenance ladies' hair, between the prepping, the cutting, the coloring, the shading. It seems ridiculously difficult, and the
Yeah.
maintenance on that seems expensive.
Yeah, absolutely can be. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and this is just a
Absolutely.
normal, and you can make good money at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you're 18, 19 years old. You're partying on the weekends. You're doing hair. Is there like dating, or are you single? Like what's going on there?
No, I was married for a minute, not till I was 26, but it was pretty much 18 to 26 was fun and games,
All right.
and
So we'll get to the 26 in a
let's
little
hang
while.
out at the bar. And
So you just did the bar scene, and that was
Absolutely.
we're just having fun. And,
Oh, yeah.
And your decompression time. All right. When did you realize, like, oh my gosh, I might have a monster on my hand here? Like, when did that happen?
oh goodness, after that, like
So it was after being married?
oh yeah, married, divorced, back to the single, hanging out
Yeah.
at the bars.
Yeah.
Still didn't feel it was an issue, but you know, you look back,
Mid-20s, right?
right? Well, early 30s by that point.
Okay.
Yeah, you look back. I look back, and I'm like, yeah, that was, you know, at that point, I was drinking every night, right?
So
I
your
wasn't
whole-
drinking at work, but I was drinking every night.
So your whole 20s, then, is basically just
Yeah.
a
Just-
fun time.
Just big, yeah. Big
and why do you
fun.
think it was? Just a habit that you would have created from a younger age? So it's
Yeah, I
just
think
normal?
so. It just was a norm, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I my parents drank and partied on the weekend, and
Sure.
and it was all fun, and so it just was the norm. Absolutely.
So growing up, hanging out, playing cards and shooting horseshoes and drinking and listening to music, that was just the average thing.
Yeah.
So you going out and hanging out at the bars on the weekend was a normal thing.
Yeah.
All right. The reason why I make that legitimate point is because when you're living your life and you get caught up in this stuff, the fact that it feels normal, I think, is the catch, right? Would you
Right.
agree with that?
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right. So you're going through your 20s, married for a minute, hanging out. So it's basically you're still doing hair this whole time. All right. And then where were you living?
Durand.
Okay. And so were you involved in anything, like as far as like doing nonprofit work or anything back then?
No.
Okay. So you're just being young and living life,
Right.
and doing your thing. So all right. So then the mid 30s hit, and what happened then?
Well, my father talked me into becoming a summer temp at GM.
How did he do that?
Just do it for the summer, because he had always like being in GM. You know, let me get you in the shop, because he had gotten my older
Security type of
siblings.
thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I always told him I don't want to go work in that dirty, scary place. And
Wait a minute. What makes it dirty and scary?
well, back when I was little, they had family day. We were able to go into Chevy in the Hole for a family day, and you know, as a little child, you're in there seeing all these robots and all the sparks and all the. It
was scary because of the robots.
It was very scary.
Wow.
Yeah. So then they started doing the summer temp thing, and he's like, "Well, just try it for the summer."
Yeah.
That's been 27 years ago now.
Really?
I'm still trying it for
What
the
job
summer.
did you start off with in the summer?
I worked on our old 560 line.
Explain that.
It's the bigger trucks. It's
Okay.
the ones they make into the shuttles. We don't build them anymore at Flint Assembly, but those were what we built.
All right.
and it was okay, right? And
Not scary.
Not scary. It was not scary. It was fun. We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it progressed, I hired in.
Now, how long was the process between being a temp and being hired in back
3
then?
years.
3 years. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I had hired in May, found out I was pregnant in June.
Wow.
And, it was big fun, right?
Yeah. Boy or girl?
It's a girl.
Yay.
Yeah, she's 26 years old.
Wow. So in May, June, and you're how old when this happened?
I was 32.
So 32. So living that life, found out you're pregnant and getting a new job at the same time. So, were you living by yourself? Did you have a house, an apartment?
I was living in my same trailer with my now husband, then boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were living there and doing what we had to do, right?
Yeah. So you're just living. Just living life. So you get a job, you go to the UAW, you get pregnant, and what's the time frame between this and you're like, boy, I really need to kind of look at what I'm doing. Like, what was that?
7 or 8 years, actually.
Right.
In April 2007, my father passed away.
All right, hold on, back up. What year? I forgot to ask what year you started. What year was that?
What year I started?
At UAW.
GM, it was 95.
It was 95. Okay.
As a temp.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I got a feeling the 07 is like the marker point. Right?
It is the beginning of the story to me,
All right.
where I started making the realization.
All right. So before we hit that, you said you got hired in 99.
I was a temp in 95.
Yeah.
I didn't get hired in full time until 97.
Okay. And then you were pregnant with your daughter at the same time. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what was that like? How did you transition into parenthood from that? Sometimes people struggle. Some people love it. Some people, it's life-changing. Like, it wasn't like a big mark for you, just like, this is the next step? Or?
Yeah, this is the next step, right? Like I said, I'm the youngest of 5. My youngest sibling is 7 years older than I am.
Oh, so you're
and
like
so
the baby by a lot.
Yeah, I'm a baby by a lot. So I was always helping them with their kids. So it was nothing for me to have one of my own.
So you're just having your one, and it's getting added to the pile, and your family's close?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. And you guys do family functions?
Well, not anymore, but yeah, we used to.
So in 99 you did?
Yeah.
All right, so what was the process like bringing your daughter up during that time? You're just living life, doing school, doing the things, doing the family stuff, doing job. Everything's pretty copacetic.
Yep.
All right. Now, 2007, Dad passes away, right? Okay.
Right.
What happened with that?
Well, my heart was broke. I'm a daddy's girl, right?
Okay.
So, you're processing your grief and trying to help your child process her grief. She was also very close to them.
Right.
11 months later, my brother, who was an alcoholic, fell down a flight of stairs, got a closed head injury, and died.
Oh, my goodness. How old was he?
He was, oh my gosh, back in 2008, he would have been 60?
60?
Yeah, right around there. Late 50s or, yeah.
All right. Well, before we go any further, we got to go to our first break. If you guys want to go to Facebook and check out UAW 598 Flint SoberFest, so you can find out the SoberFest she's doing on July 17th. Go check that out. If you have not liked, shared, and subscribed on Spiritual Warfare Unit, check that out. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Jayne Atwell, and she's from the local 598 The Most group, and they put on SoberFest, which is a celebration of sobriety. It's a great thing. And so we are just getting into the meat and potatoes of your story. So your dad passes away in 2007, and your brother, who was late 50s, early 60s, who struggled with alcohol, also passed away. Within 11 months, you said, so within 12 months. And you were close with him as well?
Yes.
Man. And so you're dealing with this grief. And how did you handle grief? Like, what was your process back then? Good or not good?
Just have a drink. It'll be all right.
Yeah, use a depressant to deal with depression, right?
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Get drunk and be somebody else.
Yeah, right.
That's always my saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a whole nother personality, right?
Right.
All right, so you're not processing the grief well. So you're kind of like just trying to be numb from it, right? Mm-hmm. And you're not getting peace, you're just getting numb, right? So, all right. So, and this and how old are you when this happened?
39.
All right, so late 30s. All right. So, was this your out of your siblings, which
my oldest brother?
Oldest one. Okay. So the two older males in your life pass away, boom, within 11 months. Man. Okay, so you're trying to deal with that stress, and you're trying to deal with the depression of that, and this is the realization point. Was it after your brother died, you're like, man, I should take a look at that? Like, is that the moment?
Well, unfortunately, 8 weeks later, on Mother's Day, my mother died.
Wow. And how old was she?
60 something.
All right, so what year? You said this was 2007?
My father died in 2007. My brother died 11 months later in 2008. My mother died 8 weeks later in 2008.
Wow. And what was it from, do you know?
She had lung cancer.
Oh, okay. So just, and these things happen in threes. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Man, so your dad, then your oldest brother, and then your mom. Man,
right.
There's no good way to handle any of that.
No, unfortunately.
Man. So did this spiral you?
Yes,
Man.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're starting to spiral. What happened?
Well, actually, really, when my mom passed, it was really that was the end. When my brother passed, I could no longer say I wasn't an alcoholic because I'm not like him, right? I still have a job. I still have my car. I still have my home. He was the marker. I still have my family. Gotcha. I still function. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the alcoholic he is, right? So then he passes due to, like I said, a fall. And then my mom passed. Mm-hmm. And the day of her funeral, I was given his ashes. Mm. And
boy, that's wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So, not to glorify the drinking, but I took him to the bar.
Yeah.
Sat him up on the counter and said, "Give him a drink. Give me a drink."
Wow.
He wasn't drinking his, so I had to drink it for him.
You had to help him.
Yeah. I did that about 3 times. Into a blackout. And fortunately, that's the last day I ever drank.
Really? Yep. What was it about that moment?
As I said, I think the realization, like I said, it wasn't due. I mean, absolutely, his alcoholism helped. I don't want to use help as a positive.
It was a pusher. It was a point of reckoning that you came to change direction.
Yeah,
fork in
absolutely. The fork in the road, right? I had to take a look at what I was doing, that I was drinking every day. Mm-hmm. And as I said, pretty much from the get-go, I was a blackout drinker, right? And getting tired of hearing what I did the night before from other people, it was definitely wearing on my conscience. Right. So, try to put the thankfulness in that that was the end, right? Because I could very well not be in the place I am today.
Right.
Had it not been for, like I said, just that. So, I'm trying to return to work, and I'm trying to do my job, and I'm trying to deal with all this grief and loss. And
so let me sum this up and make sure I got it. So basically going through life, living life as you understood it from your parents, drinking regular, partying regular, working regular, everything's 100%. So you're just a gas person, not a brake person.
Right.
Well, so you get through there, and these 3 devastating situations, boom, boom, boom. And the third one drops, and you're like, this is it. I am done with this. And so that decision put you on a path. Now, how did you get from did you go into AA directly? Like, what was your process for getting better? Like, what did you do?
So even though I wasn't using the alcohol, I was still acting out, right? And thankfully, I had a boss at the time who.
Can you give me an example of acting out, just so I have an example?
Oh, just acting a fool.
Okay. Being hostile?
Not hostile. I think I was trying to be over joyful, right?
Over joyful.
Right,
Oh,
just
pretending too much.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm happy. Everything's great. Isn't this wonderful?
The pretend world.
Life is fabulous.
Yeah.
Let me act a fool, and everything's going to be okay. So,
Yeah.
like I said, the boss is like, yeah, no, that's not how we behave at work. Let's go down front.
Yeah.
So she took me to Bob McCamey's office. Can I say his name on the air?
Of course.
Don't want to throw him
Partners
under
for
the bus.
Recovery, Bob McCamey. That's my guy.
Yeah, but he was our EAP rep, our work family rep, our person that helped people who were struggling with behavior.
Tell
and
people what EAP means.
It is an employee assistance program. We're there to help our brothers and sisters deal with drug alcohol situations, mental health situations. I mean, we're also the central resource. We try to help them find daycare, or if they're struggling financially, or any resource that a person might need if they're in need of a resource.
That's
right?
perfect.
We're there to help them.
All right. So, and this is for anyone that's working inside the shop.
Yes.
All right. So you go to this, and this is your first time. What was your impression of him? Because he's an excellent human being, but I want to know what your first.
He is, and he means well, and
Yep.
he does a fabulous job. I mean, he's helped so many people.
Yep.
Wary, but I would have been wary of anybody. I can't say it was just because it was Bob. It was. What does this actually mean?
It's being dragged up to the
You
front.
mean you're really here to help me? You're not here to. I'm not going to be disciplined or something. You're really here to help.
You're actually concerned.
You're actually concerned.
You were actually worried because they were actually concerned and you didn't believe it.
Right.
You thought it was just a ruse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you meet him, and what happens next?
And he just talks, and he and you look at him like, yeah, that's not how it works in my world, but okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
And one of his lines that used to always be, and he may still use it, do you want to feel like this a year from now?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it gets you thinking, no, I don't want to feel like this today, let alone trying to think about feeling like this a year from now.
Yeah. Can I feel like this a year from now?
Right. And so he introduced me to our support group lunch meetings. Mm-hmm. I started going there every day at lunch faithfully and listening to everybody share. It is based on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and started getting involved, right, with the SoberFest. And in the winter, we do food baskets for the less unfortunate. And so getting involved with that, getting outside of myself.
All right, hold on. You can't just throw cool things out there and
No,
then not
why
explain
not?
them. Why not? What's the baskets?
Food baskets.
Yeah. You do what now?
We do food baskets. In October, November, we stand at the gates and we get cash donations, and everybody in the plant is allowed to fill out a request for a holiday food basket or a family or person in need. even if that family or person in need is them themselves, right?
kidding.
We don't know
Right.
the choices people are making or the
Right.
struggles they're trying to get through, whether you're a GM employee or not.
Yeah.
So we're able to do that, and then we hand them out about the week before Christmas.
How many of those do you think you guys
Last year we did over 600 baskets.
600.
Yeah, and we do it all in one day. Yeah, we're just like Santa Claus.
Wait a minute. How many of them are you?
And not a lot of us.
I was going to say.
There might be, and it's not just the people. We have some extra volunteers, which we absolutely appreciate.
You need some elves. Yeah.
We do have elves. We do, and it's a great time. It's good fellowship. It's heartbreakingly satisfying to go up to those doors and see how these people are trying to live, and you've got this.
So you're delivering
box.
600 to their house.
Well, people can come pick them up,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
do a great amount of them that we deliver. Yes,
Holy
absolutely.
smokes.
And we say that the SoberFest and food baskets work hand in hand, right? So all of
Yeah.
our sponsors of the SoberFest, we put a tag on the food baskets,
Right.
saying, this basket was provided by not only your UAW Local 598, but this SoberFest sponsor
Right.
also
The
assisted.
most group.
Yes.
All right. So you started, how long was it from the time you started doing the lunch meetings to getting involved? Was it like right away?
Yeah, it was pretty quickly, really. Because like I said, I probably got involved in June-ish, July of that year, and Food Baskets is in December.
So this is 2009.
Yep.
Okay. So in 2009, and you're handing out 600. That's now? You're handing out 600?
Last year that was.
That's the number?
I mean, it's grown, right? It
Yeah,
started
so what's
out-
that like? Give somebody an example of like when you go to somebody's house and you got this basket, like what's that experience like?
Well, like I said, it's heartbreakingly satisfying. I don't know how.
Yeah, you
else-
said that.
You're
Like, give me
just-
an example. Like you go and you see what is it you're seeing? Like explain that heartbreaking
Oh my
satisfying.
gosh. One gentleman we delivered to last year, I'm not even sure the house had running water or
Wow.
electricity. I mean, it was just absolutely heartbreaking,
Yeah.
right? To see and
So
but
that's the bad side. What's the satisfying?
Satisfying
Yeah.
is their appreciation, right? Oh, thank you so very much. And
The absolute joy on their face that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Wow. So you get to go up to this absolutely horrible environment and you're providing hope to that person. They have no idea it's coming.
Right.
Man, that sounds cool. Unfortunately, we have to go to our second break. This is a good place to take a break. If you're not gone to the UAW 598 Flint SoberFest, check that out. That's going to be this next coming up Sunday. If you want to come check it out, softball tournament. It's second chance. Go to Spiritual Warfare Unit. Like, share, and subscribe. We will be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and but it's showing me how to do the good parts, and I'm trying to apply that and make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from, And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us, and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right, welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Jayne Atwell from the Most Group, and she's here on behalf of SoberFest. Now, I do ask if our guests have any funny stories, and I forgot to prop you with that ahead of time. You said nothing has ever funny happened in your entire life, which I believe you, not at all. But I thought I would ask, and if no's the answer, it's fine, and we can move on. But with all of these, because it doesn't have to be funny, it can be uplifting. And so you guys do a lot of work that really helps people, and people don't actually know that part. So I was going to give you the opportunity, if there's a uplifting story that you wanted to give, that you could give. And if not, we'll just move on. It's up to you.
Well, let's just move on. If something comes to me, we can come back to that.
That's fine. So let's see, where were we at in your story? We were just getting to the point where you were in 2009 and you had started, you jumped in both feet, basically. Have you always been that way?
Yeah.
Like once you do something, yeah, I'm the same way. So you go into being sober, you jump right in, you go from helping yourself to helping others very quickly. Now, I did want to ask, did you find that helping others was therapeutic for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And why? Why is that?
I like to see people get the opportunity to do better, right? To make different choices. And we don't know the different choices unless it's presented to us. And it's not necessarily me sitting across from the table from you telling you what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's me showing you, right? Lead by example.
So your actions helped you deal with what you were doing because you got to help other people that were struggling too?
Yeah.
All right. So it's 2009. You're doing the baskets and you're doing the SoberFest. All right. So explain what SoberFest is, because I know a lot of people don't even know what that means.
Okay. Well, the way we market it, SoberFest is a family-friendly picnic. Mm-hmm. We're there to help people new in recovery learn how to have fun without the use of substances. And we're there to also help the community understand that people can change, right? We can lay down that substance and make different choices.
So it's so if I'm understanding what you're saying, it's proof that people can change who struggle with something.
Yeah.
Because my understanding of it is like it's a celebration of change. Mm-hmm. And so my understanding of it, and you correct me where I'm wrong here, but they have you have the sober living groups make softball teams. So the people that are working on being sober, they actually get to be the stars for the day. They're the athletes, and you have this whole softball tournament, and it gets intense sometimes.
Oh yes,
and boys get mad sometimes, which is hilarious. And then you have other groups that support sobriety come out there and they hand out like pamphlets and things, right?
Right.
And what's the average amount of people that come out yearly? Like
anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 people, and that's a guesstimate because, as I said, we don't stand there with a clicker. There could be many more. I doubt if there's many less.
Yeah.
Because
it's packed.
It is packed. It is well attended. People are coming and going. In fact, we run out of parking usually by 10 a.m.
Yep.
And we've been fortunate to be able to have MTA provide us with some shuttles to do a little off-site parking where we'll run them back and forth. Mm-hmm. Because not only do we have the wonderful 16-team softball tournament, we have the other side that we call the picnic side, right? Mm-hmm. So over there, we've got a DJ doing karaoke and line dancing. We have Magic and Escapes Entertainment starring Robert Zarin's putting on a free show. We have, new this year, we have an open talk tent.
What does that mean? Open talk?
We have people lined up to come in and share their experience, strength, and hope in sobriety.
Okay.
So that's going to be going on all day. We have a horseshoe tournament. We have new this year a cornhole tournament. We're going to have duck pond this year.
Are you guys doing the fish?
Well, we're going to do the duck instead because, unfortunately, we couldn't find anybody to step up and say, yeah, I want to clean 100 trout in 90-degree July sun all day long. So we decided to try a duck pond, which is going to be the same premise. They'll use a magnet to fish out a little duck, and it'll be marked with a prize for the kids to win. We have a free bicycle giveaway for the children between the ages of 2 and 14, and that is just heartwarming in and of itself to watch these kids win these bikes. Again, the sad side is we don't have enough bicycles to give to every child, so then you got to watch the heartbreak too. But I mean, we do what we can, and again, we wouldn't be able to do all these things without our sponsors, right? I mean,
So what kind of group sponsors SoberFest?
like you said, recovery places, Odyssey House, some of our residential places, Sierra Tucson, and some of our local, like New Oakland. Oh my gosh, we probably have a couple hundred. I mean, they just come in.
So if people wanted to see what it's about and who was supporting this, they would go where?
Yeah, you're going to go to the SoberFest Facebook page.
But on Facebook page. All right,
Yeah,
so,
because we've posted this year's the back of our shirt where all of our sponsors are listed, so that's on there.
and that's the UAW 598 Flint SoberFest Facebook page.
Yes,
All right, so that's a mouthful. Let me give
it is a mouthful.
Like UAW 598 Flint SoberFest. Now 598 is the local down here, right?
Yes,
All right, and how long has this been going on?
this will be our 28th year,
28th year. And how many years have you been involved with it?
13.
All right, so that's what you're doing. Now, getting back to your story, you started in 08 and 09, you started doing this. So what was the process of you getting completely involved? Like you started getting involved in 09, and then like how did you get from starting in it to being a part of it? How did that happen?
Just a process, right? Just staying involved, keep doing the right thing,
So you started out doing what? Was it the baskets? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then so that's a once a year thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're doing the meetings every day, and you're doing the baskets. So did they come to you, or did you go to them and say, I want to do this, or did they say, hey, you're involved, would you like to?
Oh, yeah. And that was pretty much, it just seemed to be a natural transition, right? If you're sitting at the table when it's coming up to be in food basket time, then you're starting to have a little conversation about that. And then it's coming up to it's SoberFest time, and you start having a conversation on that. And
so you were just like, hey, what can I do?
Yeah.
Okay, so how long was it from you just volunteering constantly to saying, hey, we want to give you a position?
4 years, I think. I became,
So you were a temp for 4 years?
well, I was a temp for 3 years, right?
I know it was a joke too.
And then, like I said, when I started going down to the meetings and doing the right things and being involved, and then I was offered the EAP alternate position, and then that.
What does that mean, alternate?
It means
in
like
case Bob's not there.
If Bob's not there, right, I would be the one in the office.
And how many people How many people have the ability to get that position? Is it just one? Because you said it's small, right?
Yeah. Well, we have 3 shifts. We have 3 reps.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So then each rep would hopefully have an alternate, right? So it's about sitting at the table and doing the right things. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't just go out and pluck somebody off the line and say, "Hey, I think you'd be a great EAP rep."
Yeah.
Right?
I gotcha. So what was that process like? So you go in there and they said, I've seen the work that you've been doing, and would you be interested? Is that how that went? Okay, so you say yes. So what shift were you, first, second, or third?
When I became full-time, I was second shift.
All right, so before full-time, how long is the process from part-time to full-time? Like
And that is dependent. It's got to be a minimum of a year, but it's dependent on when the people retire, right? And then a position opens, and then you move
Gotcha.
into that position.
I got you.
And so, the EAP rep is one thing, but your most group affiliation is, that's more of a personal choice.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because now this is something you're just doing on your free time.
Yes.
Is you're doing this just because you love to watch people be successful.
Yes.
See, and this is the part I don't think people get. It's a choice to it. You didn't have to. It's not like the extra things come with it. You're just doing this to watch people win because you understand what it's like to struggle.
Right.
See, and that's the part people miss because they just make their assumptions of how it works. That's why the details of this becomes really, really important, because the process of what you're doing was you were struggling and you had to find a way forward, and you were able to do that. And once you found it, you wanted to give it to other people. That's the basic arc of what we're talking about, which is what makes this a great story, right? So for a year, you're an alternate. Now, what's the responsibilities of the alternate other than like you're the one that people go to if the manager walks them up to the front to talk to you?
Or they can come to
Of their
see
own
us.
volition.
Yeah, of their own choice. But yeah, absolutely. You're just there available to talk to people. Well, listen, right?
Yeah.
It's listening more than talking, and hearing their story, and then trying to help them navigate the resources that are there to help them do things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. So you helped them with this process. You did that for a year. And how long were you an alternate before you came to EAP position?
I would say 3 or 4 years.
Before somebody retired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were asked to take on that position. Now, does that become a full-time thing at that
Yes.
point?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that involve? It's the same job, just getting people help that needed help?
Yeah.
All right. But were you involved with the setting up of the SoberFest and the
Right.
So
right.
you're
So
part
when
of the
you're
process.
Yeah, when you're full time in the office, then that's where you become full time of setting up the SoberFest.
So that's got to be different, right? Like, how did that transition work? Because what were you doing? Like your job in the plant, what was it?
I'm just working on the line. I think my last job I was putting in brake lines.
So you went from putting in brake lines to, we're going to work with all these. That's a whole different gambit.
Yeah.
Like, did that work? Was it like difficult? Did you transition pretty easy? Like, how was that?
Yeah, I think it was good, and I think it was an easy transition because, as you know, we've stated, I like to help people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a lot more stressful than
It
putting on
is.
brake lines.
It is, absolutely. It can be very stressful and very heartbreaking, because no matter how hard we try to help somebody,
Yeah.
it's that you can't help somebody if they don't want to help themselves.
Yeah, right.
Right. And so you have the heartbreak of getting that phone call that we lost another one, or, but then you also have to, I find
success.
joy in the successes, right?
Yeah.
I watch these people grow and make different choices and just actually absolutely cheer on their successes, but also still be there for the fallbacks.
Right. And we got to take another break. And when we get back, we're going to get back into the SoberFest now and the things that people can do to get in. It's your third shot. If you've not gone to Facebook page, UAW 598 Flint SoberFest, please check that out on the break. Hit your phones, like, share, and subscribe, and we will be right back.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. Just out here today at the Valley Area Agency on Aging event, Senior Power Day. It's been really cool. We haven't been in the senior world very long, and I know it always plays a part in our world. So we're here today to connect with that senior community and kind of talk about the proper use, misuse, storage, and disposal of medications, making sure that they're not only are they using them as prescribed, but also disposing them as needed. So we're also bringing a multitude of services here that I'm looking at that allow us to connect and expand on our senior care initiative. So it was twofold. Share some information connection with the seniors that were out here, but also make some connection with those who are servicing the senior community to be able to expand our network of our senior initiative and make some connectivity. So we've met the folks from Valley Area Agency on Aging specifically, have some cool ideas already to work with them. We'll talk to McLaren and Genesee Health Plan as far as the Medicaid sign-ups and things like that. Veterans are here. The Genesee County Services for Veterans is here. So really have some great connectivity going. Good start to our senior care. A great day here. There's a lot of people here. There's been probably 200 to 300 people here. We've been here since 9, so it's been a rewarding event. Most people do look at our table and say addiction and don't look, but there's been those handful that do come over to us and say specifically, hey, can you come to this event or can you come speak to us here or there? And that's kind of what we're after. We're really after the focus on how we can continually expand our reach into this community. So it's been a good day. We look forward to continuing the rest of the day, and we'll circle back again another time. Thanks again.
I was like, no way. So people that are talking about breaking the rules use their fingers to speak to each other. And that's what gangs do to communicate from point A to point B. It's almost like this has been in the Bible for 2,000 years. And people feel like it's a new thing. That is unbelievable, isn't it? That things that are happening in your life today are in here from 2,000 years ago.
And see, I find that
That's
extraordinary.
very weird.
You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name.
You have a non. All right, welcome back. Catching on deep conversation. We'll have to see that one later. Welcome back to our final section with Jayne Atwell from the MOST Group, M-O-S-T, MOST Group, and she is with the UAW 598. And if you go, last chance to check out UAW 598 Flint SoberFest. And one of the things I wanted to have you on for was because a lot of people don't know the community work that the UAW is a part of, and the MOST Group is a part of that community outreach that they do, right? So is there anything other, well, we'll finish off with SoberFest, but is there anything else that you wanted to let people know that that you're associated with when it comes to like outreach and community work?
No.
This is it. This is the
is
big.
it. These are my biggies.
So the food baskets, and the SoberFest.
Yes.
All right. So what I kind of want to get into in this last section is how did all this come about? Because there's one thing about putting something together. This is a big deal in our area, right? I think it's the largest sobriety event in the area, right? So you guys have. So how do you guys come up with the softball tournament? Like, how did all that process work? Do you know, or you just walked in and continued? Like, I want to know how you guys put this together. It's really, because it's really neat. You make the people struggling with disability the stars for a day, basically, and everybody's there to watch them, and it's this really unique event, right? So how did all that happen?
And I believe it evolved, right? It started out with, as I said, our original MOST Group members having a picnic. I think I was told maybe 100 people showed up that day. And then somewhere somebody got the idea of, hey, let's try this.
Yeah, but where did that go to getting the rehabilitation houses? That was unique.
Well, there are resources.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And so we started having a relationship with them of getting our people help and then trying to figure out how to help them get their people involved in seeing how reaching out to helping somebody else or giving them that positive feedback, as you already stated earlier, of being the stars for the day, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in some addiction struggles, the bad behavior is all they got attention for. Right. And now they're getting attention for hitting one over the fence or, you know, getting that home run in or, you know, just being out there helping the kids and doing the things that we all do.
And their families get to see them being the stars.
Doing the positives. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's huge.
Yeah. So you guys do, so how did the DJ part of it, you see you guys just picked stuff and just started adding on to create this giant.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing how big it is, like for the community. So it's kind of become. You have a vendor area.
Well, we call it sponsors.
Sponsor area.
Sponsor area.
And so explain that to people. So if they come up there, if they decide to come up there, they're going to run into the sponsor area, which is next to the picnic area, which is next to the DJ area, and what is that for?
And that is for our sponsors to sit there and share their resources.
Okay.
To let people know that this is available and this is how you access us and this is what we're here to help you with. Mm-hmm. So it's just a good place to go find resources. Absolutely.
So it's a place that if someone's checking it out and they had a family member or someone that was struggling, they could get some of the sponsored resources that you already have, and
right.
they could get that information for those.
Yes.
All right. And so if they have a group that is helping, that's a place that they could go and give out their information.
Oh, yeah.
That's a two-way street. All right. Now, this is probably sounds like a dumb question, but as far as food and drinks go, I found it amazing how cheap the prices were for the hot dogs. How did you guys pull that off?
How do we pull it off? Through donations, right?
Because like everything's like $1 or something.
Everything
right?
is $1.
Yeah.
And that's why I said we couldn't do it without our sponsors or the people donating.
Who does that? Because I got to give them a shout out because those hot dogs are actually really, really good.
Oh, actually, the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan donates our hot dogs.
No kidding.
The gentleman from Genesee Vending donates our chips.
Genesee Vending? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think this year Meyer is going to assist us with the pop. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full donation or just a good discount.
Yeah. That's our local Meyer here?
That's our local Meyer.
Wow.
And then, like I said, the sponsors, our sponsor tables, they pay us a fee for that, and then we turn that back into purchasing the ice cream bars and the buns and anything we absolutely have to purchase, right? That isn't donated through somebody else. So we definitely are not there to make money.
No, you're there to make sure people have a good time.
Absolutely, that's what it's about, and it's a good time at a friendly price.
Right.
Because if we're new in recovery, we're still trying to figure out how to pay the bills, let alone take the kids out to have a good time for the day.
Sure.
And be able to pay for that. And that's why we do it this way. That's why the Magic and Escapes Entertainment show is free. That's why the DJ and the karaoke and the line dancing is free. That's why everything else is $1, because even that $1 helps us put that back in there. Mm-hmm. And that's why we also utilize that to roll into food baskets, right?
Right. So it's using what you have to make, and I gotta say, if you haven't been to this, it's a non-stop line of cars from like 6 in the morning to like 6 at night, and it is a blast because I find it like my favorite thing is I like to go through the vendors and see who's who and what's not, and hey, how are you, and all that good stuff, which is fun. That's kind of like a self thing, but watching the softball games and watching those guys get so competitive with it. I love that part of it because you watch. I was there last year, and the thought that comes to my mind is this little boy. He must have been 4, and he's wearing his gray sweatshirt, and they had a maroon shirt and a maroon hat. And his dad hit this shot, and that kid was like, "That's my dad!" And the look on that dude's face when he came across, I'm about to cry thinking about it. When he came across home because he saw his son was just screaming. I was like, that's like the thing that embodied all of it. Because you're like, how many chances? When you're a person that's made mistakes, like you're always trying to like, how can I help people make up for that? Because you understand what you missed and the time that you missed. One of the things that we were talking about off air that I really respect about people who've gone through a difficulty and they're looking to do the right thing is that moment, right? And we were talking about this, and I told her I was going to try to dig it out. But if anyone has ever struggled and there comes that moment where people make the decision where it's not my fault because, and they're a victim of their circumstance, or this is the moment, and they make that other decision, and And I asked you off air, I was like, that moment where you were struggling with your dad and then your brother and then your mom, and then you went and you did the shots and you said, that is it. I respect that moment because so many people, the average answer is to go, well, it's not my fault. But you didn't do that. You chose to say, I got to change the direction I'm going because I don't like what I'm going. And that decision, I asked you, what was that for? And you said, whether it's for your faith or for your daughter or both. Like, I want to ask you one more time, like, if you have to go back to that moment and you really think about sitting there and saying, this is why, what do you think it was?
Well, the only thing comes sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. So you looked at it and you saw your life and you said, that could be me.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't want that.
It's that Bob McCamey voice. Do you want to feel like this a year from now?
A year from now.
No, I didn't want to feel like that at that moment, let alone a year from then.
Because so many people will go into that situation and they'll go, well, this is the way my family is, so that's where I am. But there's not, and the other thing that I find like extraordinary about this is that there's help. And a lot of people, when they're not looking for help, they don't know where to go to look for help. But you actually had a supervisor who's like, come here. And I find that extraordinary because most of the time, what does a supervisor care? Just do your job and go home.
Right.
But they made a point to say,
Yeah.
come on, we're going over here, right?
Yeah.
And so if I was to ask you what resources that you had available if someone's watching this and they're like, man, I'm struggling, like what would be the top 3 things you'd say, do this, this, and this, to help with it? Where would you tell them to go? Like right off the top of your head.
Right off the top of my head, absolutely. You got your Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I chose to do the Celebrate Recovery path, right? Because my higher power is absolutely Jesus Christ, and I'm strong in that.
So you would just tell them to go look for a group that is going to support them wanting to be sober.
Oh, absolutely. And now, the online meetings are phenomenal. Right? So you don't even have to leave your home. If you've got a Wi-Fi connection, you can do the Zoom meetings still.
So someone can be at their house and they can do, so, because there's Celebrate Recovery, there's Reformers Unanimous, there's AA, there's NA. Off the top of my head, those are 4 I think about. And then like if you're going to housing, it's New Path, Salvation Army, Odyssey House, and Life Challenge. Those are the ones that pop off the top of my head when I'm thinking about processes that you have. So, those people that are struggling with this, they can go online to these processes and they can get help now, today.
Yeah, I think so. I think they at least would be able to get a guidance of where to start, right?
Okay.
Is it Genesee Health Systems? They've got the access line, the number to call to start almost immediately the process of getting assessed to see, obviously, your level of use determines your level of care.
Right.
Do you need to go in and detox, or can you just start using meetings?
Right.
Can we find you a recovery coach? Can we? So, if nothing else, another plug for SoberFest, if you can come out there Sunday, there's going to be tables and tables and tables of people who have those resources available and can help you navigate to get where you need to go as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And the last person I want to put a shout out is Partners, the number 4 Recovery, has a ton of locations and help and support. And definitely come out to SoberFest. Thank you so much for coming out. What a great story. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I'm going to continue to support this. I think it's awesome and amazing. I look forward to being out there myself. I will probably see you out there.
Absolutely.
So if you've not checked it out, we are now end of our time. Last shot to take a UAW 598 Flint SoberFest, and hopefully we'll see you there. If you've gone to Spiritual Warfare Unit, please like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you there this Sunday. See you next week. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way, but my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way.